yesterday said that he's headed to UDA. Yes. Of course, recently we saw Uhurus heading to UDA. The other governors in Mount Kenya, including James Nyoro, I believe, Lee Kinyanjui, and Nderitu Murithi, they are saying that they are also looking for a vehicle they will be announcing soon. We know that Kiraitu Murungi has gone to a revamped bus party. I think it's Devolution and Empowerment Party. But yesterday also, the governor of Machakos, Afro Mutua, unveiled his presidential bid. I want us to listen to him and look at the possibilities and what sort of horses will be in the 2022 presidential election.
We want to widen the base so that all of us, wherever we are, we can participate in the economic and social development of our motherland. You know, President Mwai Kibaki gave us the call of a working nation. Uhurus government talked to us about a digital revolution that clearly has become elusive. The 4 grand pillars by President Uhuru Kenyatta will now require a broader, wider approach to make them successful, sustainable, and profitable to the common man and woman.
All right, that is Governor of Machakos, is the party leader of Maendeleo Chapchap. And Simon, I mean, looking at Afro Mutua's bid, announcing his bid yesterday, just a few weeks ago, we saw him in a meeting of Raila Odinga in Ukambani alongside Governors Kivutha Kibwana and Charity Ngilu, and he actually read a declaration that the region was going to back the presidency or presidential bid of Raila Odinga. What are you thinking as you look at that field that also your party leader is saying that as One Kenya Alliance, they are in it for the full whole?
You see, Sam, when you look at all these governors coming out and launching the presidential bids, governors in central Kenya collating and indicating they could be coming up with a new political outfit, these are very good indicators that Kenya is not having shortage of leaders, and good leaders for that matter. So what Mutua says that the Jubilee government came into power on the platform of a digital duo, and they have not lived up to their promise, I would say that it's the feeling across young people. Of course, any regime has its lows and highs, and amongst the population, the feeling is that the lows for the Jubilee regime outweighs the highs. And that is why President Uhuru Kenyatta must train very, very carefully. Because he's been given a chance. He has done whatever he could and whatever he thought that was the best for this country. And being fair to him, we would say that I think he has failed to a large extent in how he has managed cohesion, unity. And as a father figure of this country, I think Uhuru has terribly failed us. On one hand, he came and, with his deputy and said, okay, we are here, we want to end post-election violence. We all know what had happened immediately after that. They were both ICC suspects, and they aroused emotions, they created a euphoria, and they won an election. Then after that, I don't know what happened between him and his DP. He goes and then he brings in another person into the bedroom, which for lack of better word, is political adultery. And then this guy comes in and he destabilizes the whole situation. And so the first wave is out there crying. Then the new wife comes in here and just trying to support, or not support really, but to echo the words of Honorable Sankok. You see, we must ask ourselves, what kind of political culture are we calculating? Because you cannot come and say that you will be doing election, then bloodshed, then violence, then handshake. Then comes another election, violence, bloodshed, then handshake. So what happens to this blood of this innocent blood of the Kenyans? Does it count for nothing? So Kenya does not have shortage of good leaders. Let President Uhuru Kenyatta carry his burdens with him, because we can see clearly, by him indicating support for Raila Odinga, he's trying actually to seek a 3rd term through Raila Odinga. And by him also, we can also see his deputy, the way his deputy is coming out, we can also argue that the deputy is also seeking a 3rd term. So Uhuru is seeking a 3rd term.
Simon.
DP is looking for a 3rd term through the votes. So what we are telling Uhuru Kenyatta, carry your burdens, both of them, go back home with them. Come 2022, beba mizigo yako yote, enda nyumbani. Kenya does not have a shortage of good leaders.
Simon, you've said quite a couple of things there that I would want to interrogate a little bit. You said that the president, first of all, has failed in cohesion of the country. Are you talking about the national cohesion or political cohesion?
Sam, I would tell you for a fact, be it national cohesion, be it political cohesion, he has actually admitted that on national TV, that he never focused on politics and he has failed to bring people together. Otherwise, how would his deputy be all over, you know, languishing, crying, complaining? What's the big deal? Why wouldn't he just manage to talk to his deputy?
Simon, I am asking a specific question.
It's clear that he has failed to manage him.
Simon, I'm asking a specific question, and I've had your explanation about the wrangles within the ruling party, you even likening it to marriage, adultery, and wives and everything. So that's clear on what you're saying. But when you said that he has failed in national cohesion, what are the symptoms of that failed national cohesion that you'll say this is because of the presidency of Uhuru Kenyatta?
I'll tell you something, Sam. If you look at our neighbors, if you go across South Sudan, for example, the president, Dr. or rather General Kirmayadi.
Simon, can you remain in Kenya?
I am coming there. Give me a minute, please.
Don't take a very long route.
If you go to South Sudan, Salva Kiir and Riek Machar have divided the nation right at the middle. And this tells you that when two top political leaders cannot agree, that now comes down to the cabinet. The cabinet will be divided halfway. Permanent secretaries will be divided halfway. Public service will be divided halfway. And sometimes people just don't want to speak. But I can tell you, allegiances, even in the armed forces, in the police, in the prisons, are divided because people have support for their leaders. So the fact that the two cannot agree.
Talk to me about the national cohesion, the symptoms of, is it warring communities? Is it communities that don't get along? That you'd say it's because of the president?
Sam, we live to hear with you. You don't tell me that you don't live in Kenya and you cannot see what is happening. Sure,
come on, it's a specific question, Simon, I'm asking.
There is nothing to explain. If you look at the levels of volatility in this country, it tells you very clearly. If you see people holding very strong, rigid political positions, those in support of the president, those in support of his deputy, those in support of the handshake, it clearly tells you that if either of these two takes it, this country will probably not be stable. And that's why we're telling the president, pepa mizigo yako yote mbili, enda nayo nyumbani.
Okay, Simon, clearly you'll not respond to my question. It's still unanswered because I'm asking a simple question. The president has a responsibility, and it's in the constitution to ensure national cohesion. And if you say that he has failed in that, it would be good to bring out the symptoms, because I think what we're talking about is political cohesion, which, I mean, these are not you at least, all of you are politicians, and you're likely not to agree on several things. But Honorable Mbui, I don't know what your reflection is on what those two gentlemen have been saying. And on top of that, the question about the making of the 2022 horses, the introduction of your governor into the play. What are you thinking?
Yeah, thank you. Sam, first and foremost, let me begin on the issue of my governor vying for presidency. You've just rightfully put it that just the other day he was reading a statement saying he's supporting Raila Amolo Odinga for presidency in 2022. So I am asking myself, which country is he vying for president? Is it the same country where Raila is also vying? Because basically he said he supports Raila. So for me, I think his bid is neither here nor there. And let me say that my governor is an expert in communication, so he can weave a tale. From the times he was a government spokesman and we were facing starvation, and he put it in a very sly manner that people are not believing that really people in our region were dying actually out of starvation. You know, in 2013, when he came to power, he said that he will provide us with piped water and people in Machakos County will be taking showers. And he got all the votes because of that. unfortunately, this is almost 10 years later. You know, other than the water we see carrying people in bridges, we don't have water in our homes. And he can weave a tale. But at the end of the day, I do believe that he's angling for a position probably of CS or something of that nature, because I don't think that his bid is really serious. And after all, when you look at Kenya's political scene, you know, you need to have, just like any politician needs to have some base from where you pick your votes. You can start with your family, maybe your village, and then you can get out and get more votes. If you look at William Ruto, he's already sorted out his base. He's getting out.
Alfred?
No, not in Machakos. I mean, we had a contest with him in just a few months ago for Senate, and he had a candidate for Senate. He pulled out his candidate out of fear of embarrassment, because he realized that Wiper...
By the president?
Persuasion, not persuasion. Why would the president be persuading him to pull out his candidate? Really, the reality is that he knew that it was going to be an embarrassment because we were going to beat him anyway. In fact, let me tell you, one of the reasons why people did not turn out to vote was because they wanted to turn out to vote and defeat the UDA candidate and, of course, the Chap-Chap candidate. So the ones that were coming to beat the UDA candidate came to beat that one. The ones who were to come out and beat the Chap-Chap candidate didn't go to vote. So
and two politicians, just amazing how you explain things and contextualize issues. I mean, it's amazing. Haman, the ODM leader is expected to make an announcement this Friday. I don't know that he's running for presidency. I don't know. But of course, he has been doing the rallies as Azimio la Umoja. How does this announcement change the game plan to 2022?
Sam, first of all, quickly let me help our Secretary General. You know, I come from the ANC land, so the young man is our Secretary General. You asked him about cohesion, and he couldn't answer the question. Let me tell you, Sam, and we all know it, Kenyans love each other. We are a united country. There are people in this world where two people from two different communities cannot share a room. That's not in Kenya. We are a cohesive society. Apart from the usual stereotypes of Kikuyus, thieves, Luo, throwing stones, funny Kalenjin accent, Kambas liking women, Luyas being cooks, and apart from those social stereotyping, no Kenyan has anything against another Kenyan. That's for a fact. It is our leaders, in order to get positions, who then try to use tribe in a bad way. And that's why Sankok must know that is what BBI was attempting to do. So that in terms of when they say winner takes all, we are saying let's share power vertically and horizontally. Vertically to mean if you expand the executive, many people are a part of that arrangement, okay? So it's not just being taken by one person. Horizontally, you spread it across communities so that even if Ruto loses, there is Gideon Moi in the other camp to represent them. When Kalonzo loses, there is Alfred Mutua in the other camp, and so on and so forth. The way it's done within the university arrangement for a student election. By law, you cannot stand for elections at the university as a student leader unless you come as a team. And that team, you cannot bring two people from the same community. You know, that kind of thing. That's what BBI was trying to do. So Sankok, I hope, is sufficiently informed. And before answering about Raila, is a question of governance. When governors are moving, you must see it in three different ways. You know, one, there are those who are moving to UDA because they don't know what's happening. Those are the ones who regret. And I think people like Anne Waiguru are in that category. And the Nyeri governor.
What do you mean regret?
They think what is will be. It's not always so. The world doesn't work like that. That what is today will be so tomorrow. And I've always argued in this show. You wait until February next year and you see UDA being reduced into a Kalenjin party. And there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is this.
Why so?
What I'm saying is this. The narrative is already there around the mountain. And that's where the election will be decided. That we will vote for William Ruto. We have no problem with that. But he will not force us into UDA. We're going to have our own parties. So Mwangi Wairia is with his Osawa party. And he will cause considerable trouble on the ground. TSP of Mwangi Kiunjuri, it will cause serious, considerable trouble around the mountain. So what is going to happen is the narrative is going to be that let's be free to vote for William Ruto, but we will not abandon our parties. You get what I'm saying? So these small parties you are seeing, Usawa, TSP, the NAC Kenya, and the remnants of Jubilee, the Mbas of Kiraitu, they are going to cause considerable trouble, especially those headed by people with the potential to cause trouble like Kiraitu, like Mwangi Wairia, like Mwangi Kiunjuri, around the mountain. So they are
but Haman, we know that there's been a coalition agreement in the works between Jubilee Party and ODM.
Yes.
And there was supposed to be an NDC on 30th, that is last week was it on Tuesday, but it didn't happen. So if this is to go on, and Jubilee continues to lose all these elected leaders, so it will be a coalition for who? Between who and who? And when you look at the movements within the mountain, why are they moving away from Jubilee? Does it have anything to do with this expected coalition?
I said in this studio a while back that the death of Jubilee is by design. The owners of Jubilee wanted to destroy it as a strategy to deal with Ruto. So this is just according to script. Finally, there will be these small parties that will include the remaining Jubilee. And they will reign supreme around the mountain, whether you like it or not, at party level. The final script will have it that when you have managed to move people from UDA to the smaller parties, now you can move to deal with Ruto at the level of presidential vote. So I was saying there are those governors who are moving without knowing this game. But there are also those who are part of the game. The most recent ones are part of the game. You see? If you see there are so many parties being formed across the country, the strategy is to ensure that in places where you will not sell Jubilee, have a local party there that then mobilize people, put them together, make them safe from William Ruto, and then deliver them to the handshake team of Uhuru and Raila. So there are those governors who don't know the game. There are those who know and are even part of the game. In between, there are those who are confused. So people like the Nyeri governor belongs to the category that is confused. You know, and you'll see it in February.
Why would you say he's confused? I mean, he appears to be making his own decision. He's saying that he's the last person remaining.
But if you listen to him and watch him, you can see this is a guy who seems not to understand the game. The game is right there before his eyes, and he's not able to decipher it. The game is so simple. If you cannot get the mountain to fight Ruto within Jubilee, split it into smaller units by having those smaller political parties. And that's what those four governors have done.
Okay.
You see?
Simon and Sankok, I have only a space for one person before you take the feedback, and I want to take it to Simon because... yes, Sankok, what are you saying?
Sam, you know, you interrupted me because you see, Hamad, I've talked about the BBI bringing people together, and that there will be no winner, take it all. But election is a competition, and if we have to share power with the president share power with the prime minister, who will share power with the governor, who will share power with other elected leaders, yet any person who have won will always go with the trophy. And the way he's saying that there is a game, for me, I doubt, and I think Sam, you should leave and ask him, which game is it in an election that is hidden more than just a normal election where the winner is declared the winner? And if that is so, that a game is being played against William Ruto, then Sam, I want to tell you, when I grow up, I want to be William Ruto. If all these people are organizing themselves and day and night planning just because of William Ruto, it means the mountain is already with William Ruto, the coast is already with William Ruto, the Rift Valley is already with William Ruto, Nyanza is already with William Ruto. So now the game is not the agenda that the presidential candidate will have for Kenyans. It's not about the manifesto, it's not about the economic model, but it's all about how can we defeat. No wonder there was a day Raila said, we better unite against Ruto or we perish. You know, that I think that statement was true from what Hamad is actually trying to explain that the governors are part of the plan to take the mountain from William Ruto, small parties to take the mountain from William Ruto. So William Ruto is such a leader. So then we can declare 2022 to be a one-horse race. Yes.
All right, Sankok. So
others are planning against it.
Okay, Simon, the last question, because your party leader was with Kalonzo Musyoka over the weekend, and they insisted that they're in this for the long haul. But also, there has been some sentiments by one of your party members, that is Cleophas Malala, the senator of Kakamega, saying that we are not going to go a certain direction, declare a presidential candidate now. But your party leader is saying that we're within the timelines of IEBC. In fact, Kalonzo Musyoka is saying that they never had a candidate in 2017 until 27th of April. So are you uncomfortable with some of the comments or sentiments of your party members? And if so, if indeed your party leader is not in agreement with some of the sentiments like what Malala has been saying, why have we not seen him calling them out?
Well, you see, Sam, I may not have the kind of experience that Manyora has in this political field. As a matter of fact, he refers to me as a young SG, which I graciously accept. But if you look at the history of our elections and the general elections, presidential candidates and coalitions come out very, very clearly when it's usually very few months towards the election day. For example, if you look at 2002, when LDP moved from Kanu to come and join NAC then, it was just 3 months towards the election. The same thing with the merge of TNA and URP. So what we are saying is that we are still within time, we have enough time, we are consulting, we are talking to our friends, and with time, when time is due, because we are still within the IEBC timelines, we will come and we'll announce our presidential candidate. Now, when it comes to the issue of comments by individual party members, I will tell you that the fact that someone is a party member does not mean they don't have their own personal opinion. Whatever Malala could have said, or any other of our members of parliament, should be treated as their own personal opinion. And remember, these are also elected people. And so when they talk, they must be given room to express themselves. But their opinion is not necessarily the opinion of the party. As a matter of fact, my party leader has said that that could be election fever. Ni homa ya siasa. So let the fever be there. Let the fever spread. Then we will find a way to cure it. So I think we are within time. Let people discuss.
Simon, because you would know, is your party leader uncomfortable with some of those sentiments?
You see, Sam, I don't know exactly what you mean when you ask whether he's comfortable or not and uncomfortable.
This is what I mean.
Politics is not,
this is what I mean.
Because politics,
he has distanced, just hold on, Simon. He has distanced himself from some of those comments and said those are their personal opinions, but they continue to be said in his presence. Is he comfortable or not?
You see, Sam, maybe you would want to ask me whether he is supporting that opinion or not. Because when you bring the issue of comfort, politics is not about comfort. It's not leisure, it's not luxury. Probably what you should have asked
you can reframe it, but what is the answer?
Is he supporting the opinion or is he not supporting those sentiments?
Yes or no?
And I think he has come out very clearly. He has given his opinion. He has given his mind. He has shared his mind. You have just shared his mind vis-a-vis what our other members are saying.
Okay, all right. Let's take a look at the feedback here on what Kenyans have been saying via Twitter. At Citizen TV Kenya, but also via SMS line 2242. The hashtag to use is Daybreak as you continue to engage on these conversations about the latest developments in the world of politics.
Can I say something small about Oka joining the race? They are saying it is too early and Raila is moving, Ruto is moving. I would like an Oka to a hunter who is joining the other two hunters a little too late. By the time you come to the edge of the forest, the two hunters, Raila and Ruto, already have the animal down, they have skinned it, they have just split the carcass into two. Raila is carrying one half of the carcass, Ruto is carrying the other half. So Oka can only get the matumbo and the hooves, because this cannot be 2013, this is not 2017, this is not 2002. The game is now different. Ruto started this thing way too early. And therefore, you can see how much Raila has struggled to get into the game. So if Oka still think they have time, my friend, deliver this to your principals. There is no time.
You just said that we have to believe in history.
Yes.
And then you say 2002 is to be dismissed.
No, I'm not dismissing it. I'm saying the game is now different.
The fact is,
I've given the reason why the game is different. The game is different because Ruto started way too early. A very clear path.
Okay.
So you cannot wait until next year.
And yet in the same breath you say that it is not easy for him and it is not likely to be him. So you need to pick which side you believe in.
No, then you are
because
not getting me right.
history shows us that the last 3 months actually are the ones that make or break in that presidential race. And I think we have time, and Kenyans will make that decision in August 9th, and I know the decision is not made now.
Okay, feedback. MCLO, the race for State House coming 2022 will be between the marathoner Raila Odinga and the sprinter William Ruto. The rest are pace setters. As the president puts it, the marathoner will win the race. Okay, Okello Mwalimu, going by the convergence of ideas between UD and ANC, it's becoming clear that the two are in a political courtship. It's only a matter of time before the two exchange wedding vows. It will be a marriage of convenience between the betrayed partners. Watch this space. Ongusu, who is the problem in Kenya? It's definitely our leaders, and we are blindly following them. Uhuru and the company have a mandate to unite the country before elections to prevent post-election violence. On Mutua, he won't be on the ballot, but will support Baba and be awarded with a slot. Okay. Fozi, age is one of the most important factors in politics. It is for a fact that the older you get, the wiser you become. Older people are slow to make decisions, but they make good decisions. All right. Mukindia. If the older you are, the better you are for leadership, as the president wants us to believe, why is it a matter of policy in government and companies that one has to retire at the age of 65 years? And finally, Kalu Lepario, President Uhuru Kenyatta has a constitutional mandate to leave behind a united country. The most important thing is peace and national cohesion. He also has a right to advise Kenyans on which leader is best suited to replace him and complete his legacy. You say he has a right. Does he have a responsibility? I don't know. My name is Sam Gituku. Thank you so much, Herman Manyora, as well as Robert Mbui here, David Olesankok, and Simon Gikuru, who are joining us virtually, for joining us and making this conversation what it has become. And up next is Porty Monday with Mukami Wambora, Steve Shitera, and the crew. They'll be here to talk about the action of the weekend. The most important story of the weekend has been that Chelsea is now number 3. That's a very important story, and I'm sure they'll start with that, because the new league leaders are Manchester City, and that will remain until the end of the season. That's a very partisan view, but bye for now. See you tomorrow.